Hello everybody, it's Murasame here once again, and welcome back to a fluff in a swimsuit. Yes. So this is the first figure in the under $80 August 2023 haul, and she is the only reason that this is not the under $50 haul. So yeah, this is Lorna Murasame, or Rouna as it says on the box. This is the swimsuit version of her. She is from Shining Hearts and is a 1/7 scale figure manufactured by Alter. I got her at Ami Ami pre-owned B+B condition. So yay. She is fairly old. She released December 22nd of 2015. So I was a collector then, but I was still really just starting out. So I ordered her on August 27th of 2023. Paid for her the next day on August 28th of 2023. She shipped out on the 30th, and I got her today on the 31st. So yay. Yeah, I was bummed because all my figures were getting delayed. So I got on Ami Ami and I went through the pre-owned section and I found a bunch of figures. And Rouna was one of them. And I decided I liked her. So she came home. So there is the front of her box. There's the side of her box showing off the original artwork. It's a Tony Taka artwork, so same face, but it's a good face and it's a good looking character. There is the back of the box showing off a bunch of different angles of her. You got her upper body, the front view, the side view, the rear view. And as you can see, her skirt comes off. So yeah. There is the other side showing off a bust-up version view of her, along with a pointless window showing off her hair. Spin around the back. There is the top of her box. And then we have the bottom of her box. And you may be able to tell the bottom of the box is what has been opened before. So the top, I was confused right immediately because the top seals are still sealed, but the bottom ones have been cut. So we'll open her from the bottom. I don't normally do that, but since they're already cut, might as well just do that. Save myself a second of extra work. So we'll go ahead and pop her open. And we'll go ahead and pull out some instructions, and we'll pull out Rouna. And you know what? Oh, okay. I was going to say the tape is still there, but she has been retaped. Let's go ahead and fold this box back up. So inside of her box is just a classic beach theme. We'll put this off to the side in my pile of boxes. So we have instructions. So her body comes apart and the skirt comes off. Her tail comes out. And then there is also a little ribbon if you take her skirt off to plug into her hip. So shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, also, the water effect on her base comes off so that you can put her on and then her foot goes under the water. So she is wading into the ocean. Put that there so we don't lose it. And there is Rouna in her blister packaging. So she is a cute fox girl, a fluff, if you will. There she is from the side. There she is from the back. And the other side. And so this side was never cut open, so they opened her like a book. This side was cut open and they have retaped her. It looks like she's got all of her plastic and everything looks okay. So let's get her open. So we will cut the retaped side, and might as well just open her like a book. There we go. We'll pull out her base. So actually, the base doesn't look like it's been retaped or anything, so maybe maybe, just maybe, she was never actually opened. But she will be now. So there is her base. It is basically a sugar cookie looking beach base. It's got a shell, it's got a starfish, it's got metal pegs. You've got the plastic water, which comes off. So you don't need to display her with the water effect, but might as well. And the water effect is translucent blue plastic, and the crashing waves have a little bit of white paint on them. And we'll go ahead and just, for now, slide it back together. Next, we'll pull out her little extra ribbon, which appears to be taped in. Come on. Well, that's being difficult. But this is leading credence to the idea that maybe the box was opened and someone took her out to look at her and then they put her right back in. There we go. So there is her little extra ribbon. It's black, it's got a peg, and it's a ribbon. I'm going to put it back in the plastic for the moment. Make it a little bit easier to not lose. I'm still not 100% positive how I'll display her. I do really like her without the swimsuit, but we shall figure it out later. Okay, so her tail is currently attached. Let's go ahead and get that off the side. So let's see. I'm going to take her tail out and set her down, and then we'll look at the tail. So it is kind of weighty. It's got some sculpting detail up in here. Not a whole lot, but it still looks good. It's not overdone. There is some shading, so it's darker at the tip, and then you got a little bit of shading in the valleys. You can see the seam line where the two halves were put together. And then the end of the tail fluff is just a bunch of little strands. The sculpting is very good. It's nice and sharp. And the tail is also keyed. The peg, I should say. So it should only go into her butt one way. And I am going to adjust a light. I was trying something different and it's not really working. So now we'll pull her out and her head comes off. Fringe is permanently attached, so we won't force it off or anything. She's got some nice green eyes and open mouth happy girl smile. She does have teeth up in there and a nice little tongue. She's got her maid headband, which is hiding the seam of her fringe. Her ears do have some translucent white floofs inside of them. They got nice little details at the top tips of them. The hair, I'm stabbing my hand, so the hair is very sharp. Spin her around to the back. Good shading, so top of the head is smooth, but then it breaks out in a bunch of little strands. And you can see it's light, and then it goes to dark. And there is a lot of hair. Lots of little strands and tips and everything. And remember, this is a 2015 figure. So, yeah, really good so far. Let's go ahead and take her boobs off. So on some of the pictures I saw on MFC, the only real little flaw I saw was the little frilly white trim. It was a little bit messy, the paint, but on my figure, looks to be very well done. Spin her around to the side, and we've got the glorious, absolutely glorious strap cap on both sides. She does have that soft touch skin, so Alter painted her with that, so very smooth feeling. She is at the beach, and it must be a little bit chilly, or maybe the water's cold, because she is perky under there. No super details, but you can see it The nipples do come to a point. You got the little black bow holding the cups together with little red bows holding the straps on. She is wearing a collar with a bow tie. Good side boob and under boob. You can see the string wrapping around her body. Unfortunately, it is not a string. It's like a solid piece, so like the crack that would normally be, or the gap that would be between her boob and her body is just a mass of plastic. But that's okay. Right here you can see the boobs are welded, but they're so big they come apart and separate pretty quickly. Looking at her back, we do see hints of shoulder blades and the spine line. There is shading. And you get the natural shadows too, when you don't have super bright lights blinding the camera. And a nice little bow. Her fingers, they have a little bit of tan nail polish. All the fingers are basically one mass, but they are sculpted to definitely look like individual fingers. And there might be just a hint of maybe paint transfer around her nails, or that could be the nail polish. I can't tell, but I think it's a little bit of paint transfer because she's supposed to be holding her her skirt, but it could also just be lighting and shadows too. So take the skirt off. There we go. So there's lots of plastic. Okay, the skirt feels like the rubbery type of plastic. So you can see it's stretched out where she's pulling it apart. There is a big old bow on the back with big tails. Her actual skirt is black. It's kind of like a sarong, I guess. It's just a wrap. And then she's wearing an apron. And there's lots of little ruffles and details in there. It does appear to be white with some like purplish shading around the ruffles and on the bow a little bit. So yay. Set that off to the side. And last piece is her lower body. Take all the plastic off. So she has quite the detailed belly. Little tiny belly button. We got the belly line. We've got the rib cage showing. And then you've got the hip lines. There is lots of shading. There is the little slot that her ribbon pegs into if you decide to display her without the skirt. Her bikini bottoms are in the maid style. So you got the little white frills and everything. White lace. And then the actual bikini is black. She is wearing a black garter with white frills around it and a red bow. Her legs are nice and long, and again, that soft touch paint. Kneecaps are shaded quite well. Look at her toes. Again, they've got that same color nail polish, and all the toes are sculpted, but the big toes look like they're individual, and then the other toes are mostly one piece. Spin her around to the back, and again, we got some shading around her V-line, I guess, the butt dimple area, and her spine line. We've got the peg hole for her tail. Her bikini bottoms, as is typical in anime figures, is a couple sizes too small, so it's really digging into her crack. Tilt her down. And we do see it is definitely going in the front crack too, and she is showing off quite a bit of skin down there, but nothing to make this a lewd figure, especially because you'd have to really be looking from down below to see it. Again, backs to the knees sculpted nicely with some shading. Good calves on her. You can see her ankles and the Achilles tendon. Bottom of her feet. You got the peg holes and the toes. And yeah, looks pretty good. So let's set her down. And we'll clean up the mess a little bit. And so to begin with, we'll display her without the apron, and then we'll take her apart and put her back together with the apron. Just to be safe, we got the recording recycled, so let's go ahead and we'll put her body together. Okay, when I put her top piece on, there does appear to be maybe a little bit of gap around the strap area. And again on the back. You can squeeze her together, but she kind of pops apart, so there is a little bit of a gap. But not going to really notice that because you got some bazongas attracting your view instead. I'm going to put her on the base now. So, relatively simple. And I'm going to leave the water effect off for the moment. Set her down, pull out her extra little ribbon. And we'll get that pegged in over here. Carefully. This actually will be easier without her torso on because her hand's getting in the way. Okay, this is a very tight fit. Leads me to believe that it hasn't been used before. So it does stick out a little bit from her body. It could just be I need to push a little bit harder, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. Now I'm going to stick her tail into her butt. So it looks like for the peg, the little corner cutouts go down. That slides right in. And again, just a little bit of a gap right there. Again, maybe it's just I need to push harder, but again, I'm not going to do that right at this moment. And we'll stick her head in. And again, right where her neck meets the collar in the front there, a little tiny gap. But there is Lorna in just her bikini. Rouna, or Lorna. However you want to say her name. Romanization, L's and R's are basically the same thing. But, yeah, she is cute. So, it does look like she's looking down a little bit. She's like looking at the camera, really. And my head's about a foot above the camera. So, yep, most anime figures, you want to put them on a high shelf if you want to see their face. But yeah, I think she looks good. And again, this is a figure from 2015. And I don't think she's been opened, but I don't think she's ever actually been displayed. That's what I'm getting from this. I could be wrong, but I'm happy with her. She looks really good. She's got a very, very lovely looking body. Her flesh tone is good. She's got the big boobs. She's got, the tone waist and belly. And the bikini bottoms look good on her. Really, the white parts of the bikini bottoms really blends into her skin. So it almost doesn't look like she's wearing anything until you see the black patch. And she's got big boobs. And she's got a pretty nice tail. Again, I can see the seam line right there. And it's a little bit of shading, not a whole lot, so it does kind of blend in as like one mass of plastic behind her. But I mean, she is quite cute. I am happy with her. And this is one way that I am seriously considering displaying her. But I've got her apron, so might as well at least try that. So let's go ahead and disassemble her, take her head off, take her torso off, and then take her tail out. Now the instructions did have all sorts of little warnings, so I'm going to be careful putting this on. Kind of pulling, trying to keep it from rubbing if I can. It's actually going to be quite difficult because of the way it's shaped. So I am also going to take her off of the base. There we go. Oh, almost forgot. Got to take her ribbon off. Now we struggle with getting the apron back on. The real struggle is it goes on at an angle, and then the ribbon actually you have to push back to get it around her body. Come on. Well, it shouldn't be this difficult. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and pull it down. So you can see on her left, the ribbon sticks out a little bit. So there would be no room for the extra ribbon to leave it on. So we can see that her belly button is still exposed. Go ahead and put her on the base. And then we'll go ahead and put the water effect on. So there are little slots on the base and little, little pegs kind of to help you line it up and hold it all together. And you can see that her left foot is in the water. So nice little effect. So now we spin her around to the back, and we do see the gap between the ribbon and the skirt. Just perfect for putting her tail in. And then we'll go ahead and put her torso on. And adjust the apron so that it goes into her hand. Or at least attempt to. So that may be an indication that maybe I should display her without the apron. But I can always fiddle later as well. Go ahead and put her head on. And there is Lorna, Rouna fully assembled. I have to say Rouna because that's what her box says. So yeah, I think she looks good. Either way, her base is quite small, so I don't think she's really much of a space hog, though her tail does stick out behind her and off to the side. So a little bit of a space hog, but compared to some of the figures I own, not bad. So yeah, I think she looks good. I am happy with this purchase. She was cheap. She's the most expensive figure in this haul, but she was still cheap. So there is her face. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. And I'm looking through the camera because it's a little bit bigger. I do not see human ears. Maybe I should take her head off again and check, because I know that irritates some people. So yes, no human ears. She just has her fox ears. And then the boobs and the belly. Yep, you can't even really tell that they're welded at the top of the cleavage. They are sculpted very nicely and deeply. And again, they separate out pretty quickly into a nice gap underneath that bow. Her straps have the awesome strap gap. And there we go. So this is Rouna Murasame, the swimsuit version of her. She is from Shining Hearts. She is a 1/7 scale figure manufactured by Alter. She released December 22nd of 2015. Man, got summer and December. I got her at Ami Ami B+B condition, so she's been used, but the price was right at 10,780 yen, or $77.06. And I'm happy with her. So this was a good purchase, if I do say so myself. I hope you enjoyed this fluff. Let's move on to another figure. See you soon. Bye-bye.